Greetings and welcome to the Thirsty Mage, the podcast that's hoping for a die roll of 20 on the perception check of the latest Larian Studios masterpiece. I'm your host for this episode, the stealthy bard, David Lloyd, and we've got some early thoughts on one of the most highly rated games of all time, apparently, Baldur's Gate 3. The D&D inspired smash hit has taken the world by storm. It's pretty much all I see in social media these days. It seems like everyone in the world is playing it, even though it's only on PC at this point. It doesn't even have a console release available as of this recording. We're still waiting for that PlayStation version to come out, but we'll be discussing the buzz around this game and whether it's warranted. Joining me is the newly crowned PC enthusiast since the last episode has broken her television. It's Paige Chamberlain.
Well, the TV's fixed, so
that's good to hear.
It was pretty new, so warranty. But now I'm playing on the Steam Deck, so I finally dusted that off, and yeah.
That's where I started playing, because when I first downloaded, I downloaded it on my Steam Deck first, and was playing a bit, and then I thought, CRPG, this feels more at home on PC. Yeah, and it kept crashing for me, though.
I saw, I don't know about this game, but I've seen some people have managed to project their Steam Deck to their TV, and then it's basically just the Wii U, then you're just holding the big giant controller.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
It's really funny. It's literally just how you use a Wii U, but it doesn't show. But no, I've been playing on the crunchy Steam Deck.
Oh yeah. Well, there's actually two ways that you could potentially do that. One is some of the smart TVs, or if you have like a Apple TV or an Android TV or something like that, if you get the Steam Link app onto the television, you can stream like within the house from your Steam Deck to the TV, and it's like you said, it's just like playing with the Wii U. Like it's whatever you see on the screens up there. If you have like a USB-C dock or something, you can get it up on TV.
A dock, but I don't know if I want to see that crunchy resolution plastered on the TV.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rough.
My character doesn't even have any face tattoos, because on the Steam Deck it kind of looks like they haven't loaded, so you can't really see them properly, basically.
Oh yeah.
And like my hair looks awful.
Yeah, I tried. It was fun. I actually tried. So when I first downloaded it on my PC, it just kept crashing. Like I couldn't even play in 2 minutes, and it would just crash the desktop. I even got a couple blue screens of death before I finally gave up. And so I thought, okay, I'll just attach the dock to my PC monitor and play that. And I ended up putting the Steam Deck in the dock, and I was using a mouse, so the controls are the same, but yeah, like you said, it's pretty blurry, so it was playing at a pretty low resolution, so it wasn't quite as fun. But I finally figured out what the problem was. For whatever reason, if you start the game up via Steam, like if I go into Steam and start the game, it kept on crashing. But if I close Steam and then just open the game, like I was opening it through GeForce Experience, like this other app that's supposed to optimize your graphics card. When I opened it through there, it ran fine. So I don't know what was going on.
I don't know, because I was watching my husband open up on Steam, and then it would open the Larian launcher from Steam, and it was like, like you're launching a launcher. So I don't know if was it not doing that for you or.
Yeah, well, they have their own launcher. So yeah, it would. So when you hit play on Steam, it would open the launcher, and then you would have to choose. It actually has the other Larian games in there too, but you can choose either to run it through DirectX 11 or through Vulkan, and it wouldn't even open with Vulkan. So I always have to choose DirectX 11, but yeah, it goes to the game and then crashes. And then so when I do the GeForce Experience way, it still opens the launcher like it did before, but then the game runs. So it's like there's something, I don't know if there's something that Steam is running that contradicts what's going on with the game itself or something, or if it's or maybe it's related to like the Steam Cloud or something. I don't know, but I do know that the Steam Cloud save like works seamlessly. Like I can play on the Steam Deck I can close the game and then I can go to my PC and uh, I have to start Steam up first so that it uploads or downloads the latest cloud save. But then I just close it, reopen the game, and then it's exactly where I left off. So I don't know. It's kind of weird the way it's working, but now that I found the workaround, I really enjoy playing it directly on the PC. I find the mouse is just way easier when you're just clicking on things, and it's pretty. I would say that the controls on Steam Deck are pretty intuitive, but it's more like there's so many radials. Like you'll hit like the LB, and then there's like 4 series of radials that you have to choose from, and
Yeah, because I'm playing co-op with my husband, so I'm like, how do I do this? And he's like, I don't know. Your layout is completely different.
yeah,
Because yeah, it's and I got to be careful to not. Mostly, I got to be with highlighting. I've got to be really careful not to keep accidentally steal or hit people like all these.
yeah,
But yeah, the main we've got one main radio, but then it's like the other menu is another radio, and it's just hard trying to figure out where stuff is or how to do stuff on the Steam
yeah,
Deck. So I just keep searching. But hit 3 Steam Deck. Da, 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 da. It is good that you can play it on a handheld device because
yep,
then we can play it in the same room together. So we can more efficiently communicate and stuff, and then hear the audio twice. Oh, the battery life for the Steam Deck's not very. Oh my god. Maybe I have the sound up and I should just turn it off.
oh
Because it I feel like we play less than 2 hours and then it's like boom, battery 10%. I'm
yeah.
like, oh
One thing you could do is I'm not sure if you're doing this already, but if you cap it at like 30 frames or 40 frames per second, that gives it a little more life.
but yeah, it's just because it's a big beefy device playing a big beefy game. It's like, oh wow, this is really like nothing compared to like
Yeah,
playing on the Switch or my 3DS. I would turn off the Wi-Fi. I would keep the sound down, 3D off. So like, I would, if you were talking about soundtracks, and I'd have no idea because I just wouldn't have the sound on to save the battery life, and it would last forever.
yeah. So you're playing like together in game, I guess, eh?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, which has some complications.
Well, I
um,
guess and you probably only so you're both playing on Steam, and you only bought the one game, or do you have to have your own separate copy?
own separate copy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we did that pre-release, so we didn't have to worry about it like when it came out.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
got like Steam cards for a Christmas or something.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we're just like, well, let's just buy Baldur's Gate 3 while it's.
Yeah.
So I have a cape and a hat, which my husband tells me is from a dwarf because it's
Oh,
from
okay.
like previous Baldur's Gate game characters, I think.
Yeah. That's actually good. Maybe we should start with a little bit of background for the folks at home that haven't played a Baldur's Gate before. I've just briefly played the first couple because they felt a little dated for me at the time. But so the original Baldur's Gate Baldur's Gate in itself is a series of RPGs, and it's set in the Forgotten Realms D&D campaign setting. And the first one was originally launched on PC back in '98. Developed by BioWare. I guess that would kind of be at the beginning of the BioWare golden era, I guess you would call it. Um, after that original release, there was others. So that was number one. I believe number two is in 2001 or 2002. There was also, and so the kind of the main games in those early days were made by BioWare. But then what happened is they ended up starting to do spin-offs and DLC, and those ended up being developed by other developers. Like it started to be handed out, I guess. So
Yeah, there was like the enhanced editions or something, and then there'd be new content in it. And I know some people going through it and like, man, you can really tell this wasn't by the same team.
yeah,
They're not. I hear they're not as good. The extra stuff they've put in with the Beamdog and that.
yeah. Well, that's like it's funny because like I recognize the names as like they've been known to do good work. Like Black Isle Studios and Beamdog are both kind of known for CRPG stuff, so it's too bad. I mean, it wasn't as lauded as there was some action RPG spin-offs that people just hated. So, like I guess the latest game was in 2021, and it was like a hack and slash action RPG, and yeah, I think it's got like a 51 or 53 on Metacritic right now. So yeah, I think people have been really looking. like the fans, like I certainly wouldn't
Well,
consider myself like fan of the series. Like I kind of hated playing those original games. Like I played them recently, so they felt really dated to me. But to me, it was Larian and their involvement that was like, okay, yeah, I'll pick. I want to pick this up because I know they have made really good CRPGs lately.
yeah. Because it's very interesting about like the success of this because yeah, we haven't had many D&D games for a while, and a lot of them were by Bioware. Like the only one I ever really touched much of was Neverwinter Nights 2. So that I get reminded, fair because it's like the same sort of world, and even having the different D&D aspects that I'll talk about later. But it reminds me a bit of that. But there's been a really big gap of Bioware not really making any of their CRPGs or being not so good. And obviously people were starved for it because especially I think a lot of few people are into the romancing as well, and like that was in the later Bioware games like their Dragon Age and Mass Effect. That was
Mm.
like an aspect you could go for if you're into it. Um, and so some people have been pretty starved for that, that lately, and this one delivers.
Did you ever play Anthem?
No, I think I got it for like $5-10 because they said they were going to fix it, and then they were like, "Oh, actually, we're not going to fix it." So
Yeah.
I wasted
I uh,
$5.
I think I downloaded. I don't know if I actually downloaded or not, but I think it was part of Game Pass when I was thinking about playing it, and it was right around the time where they announced that, oh, we're gonna really get in there and fix everything, and then like a week later they they're like, no, we're done. And I was like, okay, forget it then. Like I'm not gonna bother. It's funny that you bring up like the Neverwinter Nights because there was all those like old CRPGs. It was a few years ago that they ended up on Switch, and Jordan and I famously made did the reviews for Nintendo World Report and did YouTube videos, and they're some of the higher watched videos, specifically out of rage, um, because we trashed those games so bad. I think a lot of people were mad at us. I would argue mostly mad at Jordan because he was the one that wrote the words, but I was the voice. So,
Oh, which
and
one?
to be fair
Which
to Jordan, I did echo his sentiment on the games having aged beyond joy, I guess.
Joy?
So I'm I'm happy that we got this new one by
were
Larian.
they were they the main Baldur's Gate ones or the spin-off ones?
I think they were the main ones because I remember Neverwinter Nights was the one.
Yeah, that's really interesting because like Neverwinter Nights got ported on a bunch of stuff, but Neverwinter Nights 2 didn't, and I'm thinking that's because Obsidian did too.
Oh yeah, that would make
That's
sense.
got something to do with that.
Yeah, there's got to be
Um,
licensing
and then I know
headaches.
they put like the Darkest Alliance or whatever, not the new one, but like the old one that's very bad and flopped immediately. But
Yeah,
like the older ones, um, onto the systems as well. But they were like $45. I was like, what? I could get like the PS2 copies for not that much. like,
yeah, it's pretty wild. Some of them.
but yeah,
Uh,
so people have been missing out on good D&D games, and people have been missing out on good computer RPG games where you have like potential romance, all these just the different options. Like when you play as like a drow or something, and a lot of people apparently I don't know, I guess didn't know much about D&D and weren't expecting all the fantasy racism, so they've been upset that people are automatically against you because you picked
because you picked
the
a certain race.
yeah. And then different classes give you different dialogue options, and so I was like, as a kid, I never got anywhere in Neverwinter Nights 2 because I just kept playing as different races and classes and seeing like what the different reactions I could get were, or being evil and like totally being able to keep doing that.
Yeah, I would say like I didn't really play most of those games. Like my main background for Baldur's Gate 3 is like the Divinity
Mm.
series, like the original Sin 2. I didn't play that long ago, and actually laughed at how much at the beginning I was like, this seems like
Yeah.
a recoat of original Sin 2 here. We got a lot of similarities here. We got game beginning with the main protagonist as a prisoner on a ship, along with some of the companions. The ship crashes, which is what ends up allowing me to or allowing you to kind of play the game or whatever. And then also that there's like some kind of affliction on the party that they need to figure out. Like this is all going on, like it's beat for beat original Sin 2, which I thought was pretty funny.
Well, I didn't find a crab that told me not to fight it and then fight it and then died, so
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah. And it's funny you say about the classes. Like, I have the history of like, I obviously have playing RPGs or whatever. You kind of see a lot of the overlap of like what those different races
Well, a
and
lot of
classes are. But I would never have guessed that there was a. There, I guess there usually is like one race in most of these types of games where it's like everyone hates you just because of the race you are. But I wouldn't have been able to pick it out here. Like I ended up choosing, I think I chose a half elf because I wanted the ability to see in the dark.
yeah. I know there's like only a couple that can't see in the dark, so it's funny.
Yeah, yeah. There's very few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the player freedom, and then we've even seen like people stacking crates up and climbing up the crates, and then using a teleportation area just to get into a building instead of going through a hole. Because it's just that player freedom. So it's really fun to see, like the ever so slight comparisons to like Tears of the Kingdom when it comes to the silly stuff. You can mess with the physics and the inbuilt systems of the game just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more, very much in the role playing here. Like here you are, where you can say your relationships with the characters because you can piss them off so bad that they will leave. Uh, um, which I'm trying to put everyone in our get along together shirt. Which really most of them, because I've got my husband as a play character as well. So we can only have 2 party members with us. So I think a lot of people's stories are not going to get developed at all because
Yeah.
they've got to be out with you doing stuff. So
who are the 2 like story based characters that you have with you?
Astarion, because I've
Oh,
been obsessed. Yeah.
the elven vampire.
Yes, I have been obsessed with him since for early access. So
Oh, okay.
he has a nice voice, and he says this is the way he talks is very nice. So I'm trying to make him like me, which is hard because I'm not like being a full-on hero, but I'm trying not to just be murder hobo-y. Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
not necessarily kill every person just because
He
I
is
could.
pretty roguish.
Yes, but like
Yeah.
you get disapprovals when you're nice to people.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make them like you if you're not mean, at least a little bit. But
Yeah.
it is funny though, because you could like tell someone you're not going to help them and then go help them. So like you can still kind of get the approval and then do it anyway. And we just picked up Karlak, so we're going to try her. But before we were using Gale just so we had that different class utility.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Which was it? You, your husband, that Astarion tried to.
He walked up to him because he was doing what my husband's playing as a druid, so he's
Yeah.
like wild shifting. I was like, can you go up to somebody as the animal? And no, it just turns you back, so you waste your spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, there's a lot of times where he's like wild shift, like, maybe I can dig. No, so he's wasted his spell because he can't do it.
I was thinking of when you go to sleep at camp.
Me. Yeah, that was me.
Oh, now
The way,
did you let him feed off you?
yeah, I got the achievement for that.
Yeah.
It's really, but it's really funny. Because like if you fail too many checks or whatever, he kills you, and then you'll see
Yeah.
videos of it where you're dead, and then he's just like, "Oh no, something terrible has happened," and like faints, and then you revive yourself and talk to him, and you can punch him in the face for killing you. Like it's,
Oh, that's pretty good.
yeah, it's really fun the things you can do. But yeah, the way. Because you've got the whole pair up thing where you can connect a couple characters and groups together so you get them to stay behind or whatever. So they made it so now the other multiplayer characters can like have relationships with the party members, but you need to be paired up with them while you're out, or they won't talk to you while you're out, basically. So I had to start in with me and go with him. So then we got to control like one extra character each in combat, but then he said it was just, I don't know. I don't know if I should just play it single player now because he doesn't seem like very interested in like the decisions we're making together or whatever. Because he's just like, "Well, we'll just pair him off with you so then you can talk to him and stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, it's
That's
just
fine.
okay." Yeah,
So,
'cause
what classes did you guys go with
I
as
am
your own characters?
I am a monk because I
Okay.
want to punch things. Unfortunately, there is no drunken fist subclass in this game.
Oh, that's no fun.
So no drunk monk, which is like my basically my character idea that I've had for like D&D for a while. So she's acting a bit different than in my head because there's no being a drunk party girl in this game, but not enough alcohol I've found so far anyway.
Yeah.
And then he is a drow druid.
Oh, okay.
So, which is, I was like, why did you pick a drow? We know because we definitely with a druid. I think he picked it because he could shapeshift into a badger. But I was like, one of us needs to be able to talk to animals because like that in like the Divinity Original Sin 2, so fun. You get so many more things being able to talk to animals.
Yeah.
I feel like you miss out on so much if you can't talk to the animals in the
Did you
other
find?
game.
Did you guys find Scratch?
The dog?
Yeah.
Yes, we found that. So like, but he just like he forgot to do the cast talk to animal spell first, and then by that point he'd already gotten the dog to agree to follow. So like it was
Oh,
like
that's good.
again a waste. He didn't need to use that spell.
Yeah.
I think the fun thing. Did you have talk to animals?
Uh, it's one of my. So I don't have any druids.
Yeah.
So my character is. I went with a well. I actually started off as a wizard, but then I read that there's no bards. Like you can't. If you're not
Okay.
the bard, you're not gonna have one.
Hmm.
So that's probably why my playtime's so high because I played like 4 or 5 hours as a wizard, and I'm like, oh, there's no bards. So I ended up restarting as a bard. So now I'm kind of like a magical bard. I kind of went that route. And then yeah, so one of the skills that I chose, like one of the spells I can do is the talk to animal spell because yeah, I remember from Divinity 2 that there you can get a lot of stuff through the animals and it's even at the beginning of the game, like there's like this, there's the dog Scratch, but then you can see that there's some animals that want to talk to you, like there's like a agitated boar and um
The
the weird ox or something, I think
Yes,
they
there's
call it.
there's yeah, there's
Yeah.
like the two ox in the tiefling camp right in front of the Druid's Grove, and
Yeah.
one of them will tell you that they keep hiding money in his hay, so he's intentionally eating it, so they have to go through his poop to get it
Oh,
out. So
that's
then
funny.
you find some gold there, in the hay, not the. And yeah, then you talk to the weird one, and it's just like even when you roll the persuasion checks and stuff, it just won't tell you anything other than it's clearly not an ox or something.
Yeah.
All you find out is that he's gone to Baldur's Gate. So I'm like, all right, when I get to Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna keep my eye out for a weird ox.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I ended up using up like inspiration points because I failed one of the checks, and I really wanted to know what was going on with the
And
ox,
then you go
and then I
nothing.
get nothing. I was so mad. I was so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like there's so many outcomes and so many creative solutions to so much of the story. Like
Yeah.
you could have 1,000 people play the game together or at the same time, and you have completely different experiences. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
really insane
have you
how much is in there.
watched any of like the Dark Urge? Because like there's one of the origin characters you can pick, but like that one you can actually customize how they look. Um, the Dark Urge is a really funny one, but I think it's not recommended for a first playthrough because it's makes your life a bit difficult because you have very violent urges,
Oh, okay.
and the character like blacks out and stuff. So if you don't fulfill the violent urges, sometimes it'll just happen when you're not.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't. No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't come across that.
then there's like a bit where like there's some squirrel you can talk to, and if you're the Dark Urge, you just punt it immediately. Like you don't even have a choice. It's just gone. Although if I remember, I think those squirrels were pretty rude when I talked to them in early access, so it's okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, it's like Yeah, you can be totally evil or in between. I think one person was saying that they chose to be goody goody two shoes, and they were able to do that in the game as well. Like they weren't necessarily punished for it, even though maybe some characters wouldn't like them.
Yeah. Well, that's how I ended up kind of choosing my party was that I wanted to build up everybody at the same time. So I the first person I saved Shadowheart in the tutorial section, I guess you'd call it, like when you're first on the ship. So if you release Shadowheart from like the pod she's in that first kind of part, she'll be the
Yeah,
first character you come across when you crash, like when you start
yeah,
the true game. So that Shadowheart was the first one, and she kind of leans good. I don't know if she's totally good from a few things that I've done.
yeah.
Um,
She's
and then Gale was the next one, and he's a good character too.
depends what way you walk around. I think because yeah,
Yeah.
um, with this was the first time I realized I could actually get her out. When in early access, I don't know if I even heard her shout slamming against the gate, but
Oh,
like
really?
I couldn't figure out how to get her out. But I did in this one. So then she was like, thanks, because like if she'll just be passed out on the beach. But like if you haven't successfully saved her, you'll find her slightly further along, and she's like banging on this door that only opens from one side, and she's like, thanks for just walking past me, and I'm like, I didn't even know you were there. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like already mad at me.
Well, and you know what threw me off with so in Divinity, you can only have 3 party members at a time, and if you try to recruit other ones, then the ones you have just leave. So I was thinking like, oh, okay, I have to choose 3 and that's it. And then I didn't realize that, and this is when I found this out was so I had Shadowheart, Gale, and then Asterion, but I wanted like none of them are really like fighters, so I wanted Karlach. So I went and found Karlach, and thinking that like okay, like I'm gonna lose Asterion because they're kind of 3 good characters. This seems like a decent party to have. And then the first time I went to camp, Asterion was there, and I'm like, "What is going on? Like, why I can't, I didn't think you could keep them." So then I ended up going around like trying to find everybody because I'm like, I might not use them, but I wouldn't mind having them at the camp at least, so that if there's a
Yeah,
situation, maybe I can use them. But unfortunately, things didn't go well with is it Lavelle? I can't remember.
Lazo.
Lizel, yeah. Um, things kind of went sideways, and I ended up killing her by accident.
Did you go into the crypt near the start of the game near the beach?
Yeah,
So you've got the skeleton guy.
yeah. Withers.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
because
he's back at the camp if I need him.
you can use them to revive.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's only like $200 or something.
Yeah, I know. So I found a goblin who had like $100 on it. And I was like, like, and
There's a funny.
there's hirelings as well. So I don't know if that would
Yeah.
how they work.
Okay. They I haven't come across that yet. I had a good laugh at so so there's this in the Grim Forge there's there's a situation where there's like a few different ways to kind of figure it out, and every way that I was trying to get it done, I ended up in this huge battle that I could never win because there's just too many characters on the screen. So I eventually got to the point where I was so mad. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out how to kill everybody. So there's this like special rare gunpowder box or like crate that I set in the middle of the room, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna blow this. So I blew it up, and it kills everyone in the room, including like 3 of my 4 party members. The one guy only survived because I think Karlach still had like 5 HP left or whatever when this thing went off. But what was funny was that there's like when Gale dies, like
Yes.
pure dead, there's like an answering machine sort of like spirit that comes out that's like, you can't let me die or something bad's gonna happen. So I need you to do this.
Yeah, it's a
And
very
I was
complicated procedure.
yeah. And it was funny too because at the time I'm like, well, I'm gonna save scum this, so I don't really care what you're saying. So I'm trying to skip it through, and then it gets
Yeah.
to the point where it's like,
Yeah.
no, I want you to repeat what I just said. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Because yeah, he's. I mean, I knew about it beforehand, but he's finally like talked to me about it. He's not telling me the why. I know the why, but like
Yeah.
if he's eating the magical artifacts, and I was like, oh my, not my necklace. We're talking to the dead spells. Okay, that wasn't magical enough apparently. So, but the only thing
Mm.
is like you feel like there's a sense of time pressure, but they kind of isn't actually. But then there are characters who want things, and if they don't get them, they'll run away. And I'm like, I hope that's not tied to how many times I go to sleepy, because I go to sleepy a fair bit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So the one, so Gale has one where he has to consume a magic artifact, and he was doing it a lot early on, and now I've probably gone 10 hours, and he's hasn't asked for another one.
Yeah, I read some things that it might be only like a certain amount or whatever. So, and I'm like, it's probably tied to how many there actually are, too.
Yeah.
Like, there might not be, there's only so many of them going around, I guess.
Well, yeah. I've definitely got tons of magic artifacts if he starts asking for more again, but it just got to the point where he wasn't asking for them. So I'm like, all right, like this is fine. Um,
Um,
so it wasn't too
but
bad.
yeah, save scumming wise, I haven't really bothered with the dice rolling stuff because it's just like, I hate the dice rolling kind of to some extent, really, but like,
I think
I don't care that
Larian
much.
I think Larian has something in there that prevents it, because I tried to save scum and I only got ones. So I'm convinced that Larian has some
Snake
kind of code
eyes.
in there that screws save scumming people, because
But
I've already tried it and it backfired
uh,
all three times.
co-op can make it kind of weird because there was a bit where I'm walking into this room with a paralyzed chick, and then I guess I get caught when I walk out because she screams to the guards after we all three of it, like me, and then Azastarian, and then him fails to persuade her completely. And then I roll the persuasion check to be clear to the guards, but he doesn't. So then we just alert this whole big area of people that want to fight us.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we saved some of that because I was just like, I don't care this much. And then mostly just for battles though, because like there's one encounter, yeah, we're just like, oops, like too much of us have died. Like,
Yeah.
like if it's one person who dies, it's kind of like, oh, maybe we can fix that kind of cheap or whatever. But if it's two
Yeah.
people, it's just like, nah. And then we actually did a better job because it was like some hyenas and stuff. And then we actually stopped the one from alerting it. So we were able to save after doing a small fight. And then we did that second fight about 2 times till we got
Oh
it
yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
I know
like,
which one you're talking
yeah,
about.
like it
Near
runs up.
Karlak.
Yeah, it runs up the hill and like
Yeah.
alerts the other one. So like if you stop it from running up the hill, then it doesn't start another fight. Like, make the fight go on longer so you can save between those encounters.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad I saved because I went down to the Hag's Lair. And yeah, level's kind of really important in this game. And
They're very
the
important.
first enemies were just like, we're gonna come back later.
Yeah.
We're just gonna find some other things to fight. Like,
Well,
worry about.
you don't level up very like I'm 25 hours in, and I'm pretty sure I'm still, I think it's like level 5, so I'm still
Well, I think it's
like,
like it's based on D&D, so the max level is 12
oh, okay, so I'm about
because it's
halfway then.
based on the abilities and stuff you get, and you start getting really high in D&D, you are like overpowered. To
Yeah.
like, I think like I'm a monk, and not that it wouldn't matter gameplay wise, but I think there's a certain level you reach and you basically don't age because you've like got control of like life
Oh.
force, basically, like
Mm.
so.
Well, I'm definitely not overpowered, because in the Grimforge there's been two specific battles where I've spent, the first one I spent 2 hours on trying to figure out. And I'll explain. I have a funny story about that. And then there was a second one later, deeper into the forge, where I fight this one boss, and I went through a whole hour, couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, they were just way overpowered for what I was, and then I couldn't help myself I had to Google how to beat it, and then as soon as I saw the explanation, I was mad at myself, because I'm
Yeah,
like,
for
oh,
no.
I should have figured that out. Like, come on.
Well,
Oh man.
I have a lot of vials and stuff I've picked up from other people.
Yeah.
I'll use those from time to time. Greece, I've
Yeah.
had some trouble with because then like it turns out all the enemies are ranged, so they don't need to come down the hill and step in my
Oh
grease
yeah.
pile to light on fire. Unfortunately,
Yeah. The void bulbs have helped me greatly. There's been a couple bosses that I just used a void bulb to send him down a chasm, and that was the end of the fight. Really, it felt like cheating to a certain degree. I actually made an animated GIF in the Discord channel for Baldur's Gate 3 of me one-shotting the Hag with a void bulb before, like, and the battle didn't even start because, so I went in once and she's invisible. So I walked into this room and she like trounced me,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had to had to reload the match. So I'm like, okay, I know where she is now because I
Nice.
saw where she came from. So I threw a void bulb from way off in the distance, and it sucked her down a chasm, and then it was just done. So I had a good
Um,
chuckle over that.
what's really funny I saw is that I was talking to the hag about to start the fight, and then I saw I could trade with her, and I saw her potion of invisibility, and like I know she uses it like straight away. So I was just like, I didn't do it because I didn't have enough money, but I was like, if I traded for that, just took it off her, does that mean she couldn't use it immediately?
Yeah,
Because
that would be funny if that was the case.
so I kind of want to I kind of want to check that because
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like you might be able to just kind of forcibly take the inventory a bit if you have enough money, and then it doesn't matter because you can just get your money back later.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to see that if that.
So I had this funny encounter in the Grimforge. So um yeah, there's this one spot where there's a character that's stuck in, there's like this chamber and they're stuck in there and there's like poison coming in, and so they're telling you like, oh, you have to find a way to get the rubble out from the door so that this important character doesn't die. And there's all these guards around and they're trying to figure out how to get the door open or whatever. And so I actually figured out how to open the door, but when the guy comes out, he's a real dick, and it always turns into a fight. Like, so I got trounced in the first fight because there was just too many of them. And then so I restarted and I'm thinking, okay, like there's too many. So there's these three ogres that you can hire in the goblin village. So you can, if you I think you have to do a couple perception checks or something, but you can come up, you can make a deal with these three ogres where they'll give you a horn, and basically you just blow the horn whenever you want them to come like cream people, and
Oh,
they'll come and kill everyone and eat them,
oh my
and then
god.
you just have to pay them $500 and they'll just come and eat everybody.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I guess this is the time to do it. So I trigger the fight again. I blow the horn, and they come, but they absolutely get destroyed by the guards. So I felt so bad for the ogres because I'm
Mm.
like, okay, guys, I thought you were gonna be a little better than this. So they just got absolutely wrecked. So then I was starting to think, okay, now my plan is I'm gonna leave that guy in that room, because he's kind of a powerful mage himself. I'm gonna try to murder everybody before I open the door and see if that works out. So I was going around using the psychic ability to fling people into the chasms. So I was just going around like one by one, stealthily trying to kill everybody. But I even when I took out a few people and triggered the fights, like it was there just too many people were coming at me or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's when I came up with the I had this. Oh, and this is another spot where I got the save scum. Is there's this character who I went and talked to her, and she has this mythical gunpowder. So she's so for in my first encounter with her, she says like, I'll give you this vial of gunpowder if I could take this and the rest of it and just let me go on my way. And so I one of the options is, well, what are you going to do with the gunpowder? And she's like, well, I'm just going to teach people who need to be learned a lesson. Don't worry, you'll be on the right side of history. And then she ran away, and I immediately went, oh my god, she said I'll be on the right side of history, so this doesn't sound good. So I reloaded, and I snuck up and stole the whole gunpowder from her when she wasn't looking, and then I triggered the interaction, and to my surprise, she actually she actually acknowledged that I had stolen the gunpowder. So I thought it was hilarious. So I stole the gun. So then what happened was is so I just moved the gunpowder kind of away from her, so she acknowledged that the gunpowder's not there, and then I think, okay, I'll let her go. So she starts to run away, but then she runs over to the gunpowder, steals it, and leaves. And I'm like, oh my god! So I had to reload again, and then this time I moved the gunpowder, and then I just killed her because I'm like, no, I don't know what you're gonna do, but it doesn't sound good. So anyway, after all that, I I'm probably 30-40 minutes into these trying to win this fight with all these guards and everything, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the gunpowder that she was going to use, and I'm going to blow all these guys up. And it sort of worked, except it kept killing my party because it destroys everything in the room. And then
Just save it for the final boss or something.
yeah, well, now I still have it, but what ended up happening is I went back to the camp to check to get something out of my inventory because I had like this other plan. And then when I came back from the camp, the I guess I had waited too long at that point, and the guy had died in the room. So I never actually I was able to progress because the guards had all left because the guy ended up dying anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's the end of that. So I just keep going. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not sure if I missed out on anything because I did like take the stuff that I needed from the guy who was dead, but I don't know. It's just funny that you can get into these situations where it's like things can resolve themselves in different ways that you weren't expecting.
Mm. Yeah, I think it was like when I was looking up about the time thing, it's like certain quests and stuff will be sort of time sensitive, but like
Mm-hmm.
overall plot wise, you don't have a strict, time limit or something. So,
Yeah, it seems to be from what I've read, the like if you trigger a quest and you go to camp too often, then it could affect that specific quest. But it's not like the in-game timer says you're at the 20-hour mark, so now this thing's gonna happen. Like it doesn't seem to be tied to things that way.
no.
At least in my experience, it doesn't seem to be that way. What's been the craziest moment for you so far?
I don't think we've really done anything crazy because we haven't gotten very far. We sort of went like, picked up people, talked to the tieflings, and fought the goblins for a minute. We did actually stop Korga from causing trouble, so we actually didn't end up in a big fight over there.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. And then we went to go do the hag, but she was too tough. So then we went to find Karlak, and now we're heading around the blighted village. And I kind of, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm missing out on approval because I came across that barn door in the blighted village, and
Oh yeah.
then I kind of just attacked them on the site, so I didn't really get any dialogue approvals for saying anything to them because I just
Oh, you
yeah.
didn't get to talk to the two in there?
Yeah, I just saw that it was like back up or whatever way or attack, and I'm like, attack, I guess. So,
Oh. I
um,
had the funniest conversation with those
yeah, I
two.
know you can. So I was like, oh, I think but I'm also like, well, I need XP. I need to level up. I can't fight the hag like this. I know
Yeah.
the goblin camp's really big and all this stuff. Like I'm gonna need it. Hopefully, he's playing as a drow, so hopefully we can sort of make our way through goblin camp.
Did you in the tiefling camp where the druids are they're doing like some kind of enchantment or something?
Hmm.
Have you talked to the leader inside the room there?
Korga
Is that who? Oh, is that her name?
with the
Okay.
snake.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Where she
yeah. I
threatened to
said
kill the
we
kid.
yeah, we just managed. I just managed. I've got monk as well, so I have lots of like being at peace and da 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 type dialogue options, which is really funny. So
Oh, okay.
that plus persuasion, I was able to stop her, and I was like, oh, no fight, awesome, that's easy.
Yeah. I also like how Nettie. I think it's Nelly.
Yeah, I've just ignored her because I know what happens the last time. So I'm just like, I'll come back to you later. Like,
Oh, okay. I went and
yeah,
talked to her, and she gave me like a suicide pill.
yeah.
She's like, if you think you're going, you take this poison, and I'm like, sure. And
Oh,
then
is
just
that
left.
all? Okay.
Oh
No,
yeah, you don't have to take the poison. It's
no, because like when I did it early access, like she locked me in the room to try and kill us. So
Oh no, I didn't get that. It was
We
So yeah,
we
she knew. She opened this other room for me.
yeah.
So there's like one room she's in, and I talked to her there, and then she opened another room, and we went in there, and she was showing like the. I guess they had one of the trussels or whatever they call them that has the parasite in. So they had like someone dead, and she was showing me the parasite and talking about what could happen or whatever, and that I had to go find Halcyon in the goblin. Um, but yeah, she just gave me poison and said like if the transformation could happen at very quickly. So if you feel yourself going, you need to take this poison. And she's like, if you promise to take the poison, then we're good. And then I was like, sure,
Oh,
yeah,
I guess
whatever.
she didn't believe my promise and she locked me in and tried to kill me. So,
Oh no, that's
no, so in this playthrough, I've just completely ignored her for now.
yeah,
Uh, I'm just like, no thanks. Like, I'm gonna go get Halson first, and then we'll see what happens.
yeah,
We'll get the boss man. That's why, like, I haven't even promised to help the tieflings. I'm like, I'm just gonna, like, what if I just like go and take care of this problem before saying anything? Like just
yeah. Well, I can confirm to you that is an option because I did the same thing. I was like, I'm not promising anything, guys. I'm gonna go do my thing, and if it happens to work out for you, that's great.
But
But
it's
no, I didn't
it's
promise anything.
it's really fun, all the things you can do, because like you can do the goblin camp thing, and then you can even choose to like as in you can be on the goblin side, like the evil side, right? Well, supposedly, because they're
Yeah,
they're part of a cult and they're trying to kill people just cause,
yeah.
I suppose. But then you can choose to poison them at the after party, so you can be
Well,
like ultra
yeah.
evil.
Oh man, I did that. That would have been a good way. I ended up just butchering them all. But the
No, but that's like if
originally,
you have to. That's you have to attack the tieflings not to do that one.
oh, okay.
That's as in you're killing everyone.
Well, originally I went in. So I actually talked my way into the goblin camp. So they let me in the
Mm.
village, and then I managed to get into the temple where the leaders of the goblins are, and nobody was attacking me. They just like I was allowed to walk around and talk to people, and I was kind of just doing my thing. But then um it got to the point where it's like, okay, I either have to kill all the goblins, or like I couldn't. It was really one of those like, either you have to do the bad thing, or you have to do the good thing. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go kill everybody, all these goblins then. But the one of the goblin leaders is could have been a companion, and actually, originally I wanted her to be because I wanted a paladin in my party.
Mm.
And the only paladin companion is the goblin leader, but she's evil,
Oh,
so
yeah, you
I would
have
have had
to.
to have done an evil playthrough to
Yeah,
get
that's
her.
the
And
same with like there's a character you can sort of go as a companion if you're evil, but then I think they kind of did you anyway. So
yeah,
yeah, but it's like you do totally have the option to be completely evil or completely good or just this weird mishmash of in between. Like actually, I have committed a crime because I went into like the hag swamp and then we like put the illusion down, so then the sheep were red cats, and then we attacked them, and then that counts as a crime, and we're like, and my husband's like, how's that a crime? And I'm like, maybe it's because they look like sheep to everyone else, so we've just attacked someone's sheep, and that's probably a crime. That's my
oh,
that's my perception. As far as anyone's aware, this is just a normal little placid farm, and we've just started killing livestock.
yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. Mhm.
that's
Well,
yeah,
I felt like I blew that one too because when I got there, the two brothers were talking to the hag, and I sided with the brothers
yeah.
to, and the hag disappeared. But then I guess I wasn't convincing enough that because I was like, I told the brothers, oh, I'll go find your sister, don't worry about it. And they're like, no, forget it, like we'll do it. And then like 2 minutes later I found them dead. So I was like,
Oh,
well, I guess I blew that one.
well, in that case, I was oops, because I just said I'm not promising anything, and then I was going to go do it anyway. But now I'm like, oh, I don't know where they are dead. But I some characters I think are resigned to their fates no matter which. Like the only thing you could do was like somehow walk around and try not to trigger the. You'd have to know what you were doing.
So you haven't defeated the hag yet then, eh?
No, I couldn't even deal with enemies
Oh,
in
okay.
the start of her dungeon. So I was just like, I'll come back later.
Yeah.
I'll worry
There.
about the person who doesn't really want my help, even though she kind of really needs it, or she's going to have something awful happen. But like, not to go into the spoilers for that quest, but like, say you deal with the hag, and then you can kind of
Oh, do you know what happens with the sister then?
not 100%. I think I know there's like an option where you can sort of give her what she wants, and it's really
Yeah, I
weird.
did that. It was
And then
hilarious.
and then if you take that away from her, she gets so mad. Even though,
Oh
like,
no, I let her.
if you do what's really right for her, she hates you.
Oh,
She's
I know. Yeah, she was mad at me the whole time, so I did the funny thing, and
yeah.
then I gave her the thing so that she could just do it. I'm like, yeah, you be you,
Yeah.
figure it out. I don't care. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, I suppose she doesn't have her brothers to look after her anymore, so you need to.
No, she doesn't. Well, yeah. Well, she can use the thing I gave her if she really wants on the brothers too.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like she's
does,
gonna think it through that far, but
does that one count as a magical artifact?
I think it would have if I had fed it to him. But
It says like it'll be in the description where that tells you whether or not Gale can eat it, basically.
yeah, I think like the things I was feeding him were just like they weren't anything special. They were just like enchanted stuff that usually it was like green. In the inventory system, it would glow. There's like a green box around it if it's enchanted and could be eaten. So there was even a time I don't think I had one, and I went and bought it for like $50 or something, and I'm like, here you go. And
He's just like,
yeah,
I nearly. There's like something I nearly bought. It's very expensive, so I didn't buy it. And then I was like, wait, I don't need that. I'm a monk. I don't need deflect missile gloves. I just get it at level 3 or whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's just a normal skill for me. And I've done
yeah.
that once
The
where I had the opportunity thing to deflect the missiles if I wanted to, or not do it.
oh, okay. The equipment hasn't seemed um like I haven't really come across anything too special. Like it's mostly is that like it's got numbers and stuff, but nothing's really stood out for me. The only real equipment that I've noticeably been happy about is I as a bard I'm also like doing some rogue things,
Mm.
and I came across the gloves of thievery, and
Oh, nice.
now whenever I do a lockpick, I get double die because I'm
Oh,
wearing
nice.
the gloves. So they've been really useful.
That's good. I keep forgetting to have Astarion do his like rogue abilities, and he keeps getting squashed in fights because he's not hiding and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Man, he did a critical hit on someone once with the dagger though, and I was like, oh my god. Sploosh.
It definitely seems like a game. Like there's so much that I'm learning along the way. I'm so 25 hours in, and I only now just realized that in the turn-based thing. So there's the portraits are at the top, right? And there's
Yeah.
like they're in line of whatever. I did not realize that I could pick any of my characters on the line and do it out of order. I
Oh.
thought I had to do it in the order. Like so, for
Uh.
example, I like it'll show like Gale. Let's say there's like me, Gale, and Shadowheart, and then there's an enemy in the fourth position. So I could, even though Shadowheart's third, I could click on the Shadowheart portrait, do whatever I want, and then I could go back to the first person, do whatever I want, and then I get to do the second person, do whatever I want, and then it goes to the enemy. I didn't know I could do that.
No, I didn't either. So that'll be useful.
I just learned it in the last fight against this really hard boss,
Did you
and
also know
I
that you can throw healing potions so it hits more people if they're together?
damn it, I didn't know that. That I was trying for the life of me to figure out how to, because there's so many times where somebody would need to be healed, but they weren't the ones that were holding the heals, and then I had this other character. And I'm like, why can't my character give a heal to somebody? It's like
You gotta throw it
driving me
with a
insane.
chance.
Oh, throw
And
it! I
then
should.
and then it's funny because if it's like right next to you, then it's a disadvantage for throwing. And I'm like, how hard can it be to smush a bottle into somebody's face if they're right there?
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna make life so much easier. I
Yeah,
almost want to like start replaying. This is the thing that kills me with every CRPG is like
yeah.
I'll get halfway through one and then I'll realize all the things I could have been doing throughout the game,
You gotta
and then
commit.
I'll want to restart,
You gotta
and then I
commit.
just like it's like this never ending cycle of like I get to a point and want to restart and then want to restart.
But
But
yeah, so far I've only killed one innocent person, and that was to protect my friends. So you
yeah, I think I've killed a few.
know, I don't mean like goody goody, but like I did kill someone to protect Asterion. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had a few collateral damage. I guess would be the way to put
and
it.
I guess technically, like technically that ogre and bugbear or whatever the heck weren't doing anything wrong. But so I've killed monsters on site just cause
Yeah,
they do normally line up as reds. So unless you do persuasions, you kind of end up having but that's okay because they're monsters. So.
yeah. But yeah, like there's just so much like, and this is all just been act one, like, which is insane to me. Like there's still so much that I haven't. I think I've, for the most part, I've explored most of the I don't even know what the main area is called. um but like I've done explored pretty much all there is in the main area where the ship crashes, and then I've explored all of the Grim Forge. um, the only place I haven't really explored too much is the Underdark, because there's so many very tough enemies down there.
Mm.
I was just getting absolutely destroyed, so I kind of just went to where I needed to go, and trying to avoid everyone I could, to because it had you have to take the Underdark to get to the Grim Forge, as far as I know. And there was a hilarious scene there too. Like I don't it's not, I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but it's too funny not to say what it is. Because there's these characters I ran into, and they attacked me first, so I feel like I'm in the right for killing all of them. They attacked me. I killed them all, and then I noticed they had a boat. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take your boat. I'm sure it's something useful. So there's a cinematic scene where you're we're on the boat, stealing the boat, and this other boat of like the same race of characters. He comes up to me, and he goes, "Hey, you're on whatever, guys. That's my buddy Jim's boat, or whatever the guy's name was." And he's like, "Why do you got it?" And I like bullshitted something. I can't even remember what I said. I said something about like I think it was something related to being a true soul or something. And the guy was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me take you to where you're going or whatever." So he gets on my boat and he takes me to the thing, not knowing I had butchered all his friends back at the dock. And
Yeah,
I
but
I just killed myself laughing.
it's alright. They're weirdo cultists under some big conspiracy. So yeah,
Sorry.
but they're all like part of the cult thing. So I don't.
Yeah, I shouldn't feel bad for them because
Anyone
they're
who's calling
probably,
you a true soul is not a true friend.
yeah, I guess they're probably jerks. So
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad. But I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, a lot of terrific scenes so far, and I can't even imagine how long this game is. Like I think I think it was PC Gamer's review I just saw gun up, and they're like after 180 hours, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. The review codes only went out like because they pushed the release date forward, so the review codes only came out like 2 weeks for some places, only like 2 weeks before the game came out. So um, that's why all those reviews are coming out now because they did not have enough time to play the game.
I don't blame them. There's so much.
So, do you think this one's going to be Game of the Year?
Oh, it feels like it. But I would say like right now, Octopath Traveler 2 is my game of the year right now. Uh, I can't really speak on uh, uh, Breath of the Wild 2. Whose
Tears of
name?
the
Oh, Tears
Kingdom.
of the Kingdom. Because I never played it, and I can't say I have any interest in. So I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to say that one's probably. So I mean, it's feeling like it's probably game of the year. If it continues to be as good as it is, it probably will be. It seems to be like it's I think it's like the second highest rated on Metacritic right now ever, and it seems to
Yeah,
be.
although you gotta like consider that not many of the reviews are out yet. So 'cause someone's like, "Oh, it beat Tears of the Kingdom Metacritic," and it's like, "Well, Tears of the Kingdom has about 100 critic reviews, and at
Oh,
the time, Baldur's Gate 3 had maybe 10. So you gotta,
okay.
you know,
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, I mean, it's not surprising because Divinity 2, I think, is one of the higher rated ones, and I mean, Larian is kind of got this process down to a T because they're just doing great. But how about you? What you have played Tears of the Kingdom, so you have that outlook. What's your thoughts on its chances of being game of the year?
well, I mean, it's up there, but Baldur's Gate 3 has a pretty vampire boy, so you know,
Well, and it's the third for consecutive, or not consecutive, whatever the word is when everyone's playing at the same time. I'm blanking on the word. There was
popular.
like 900,000 people playing at the same time on
I
Steam, which
mean,
is like
yeah, concurrent players.
concurrent. That's the word I was looking for. Concurrent players, which is I think they said like the third highest ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I've gone to play Baldur's Gate, there's at least one person of my friends that's also playing it. So, and I don't
Okay.
have that many Steam friends.
Yeah. And Casey and Jordan, I think, are both picking it up, but they're waiting for the PS5 version.
Yeah, no, I'm like, maybe I should have. We already paid for it before they announced the console versions because it's like, oh, PS5 version has like split screen. So that might have been gotten him more involved in actually playing it together thing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it was like I know. Yeah, I think Divinity Original Sin 2 had split screen or something. Or because I remember, I think I rebought that on Switch because we could like local play it in the same room.
Oh, okay.
Although mostly I like sticking together better because otherwise you end up starting a separate combat encounter and that can be dicey.
Yeah. Well, that's what Chris was talking about in the Slack that like you could have one person getting into fights while the other person is like screwing around, like on a completely other side of the map.
The only
Um,
thing you really have to be on together is when you go to camp. So,
oh, right. Yeah.
and going
Well,
to
the other
sleep
thing
or not.
about the console version is I would really want mouse support, and I'm not 100% like I know that you can connect a mouse and keyboard to a PS5 and use it that way because I did that with Final Fantasy 14. But I don't know if that'll be an option with Baldur's Gate 3. Like I would want to know if can I just connect a mouse to my PS5 and play like that. Because yeah, I think if I had to always play with radials, it would grate on me a bit. But like the like being able to connect a mouse to the PS5 and
It just depends on the game, I think. Yeah.
yeah, well that's what I like. I ended up buying the PC version just because I was adamant I wanted to use a mouse. So hopefully the PS5's that way.
I definitely would appreciate a mouse more than the the dials and nearly misclicking on stuff and
Yeah.
crunchy graphics and but I can play our computers aren't in the same room, so you know
Yeah.
it's the one thing I've used my Steam Deck for.
Well, well, I guess you'd have to put it. I was even thinking like if you connected it to a dock, you could connect a mouse to the Steam Deck and then use the mouse right on the Steam Deck screen. Because I did that with well I have the like you can use any USB C dock, but I have the actual Steam um, branded or whatever you want to call it official dock, and so I set it in that dock so that it's like upright. And so I just put it on the table and I can see the screen and then I connected a mouse and then I just used the mouse like I was playing on a regular PC.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a dock with it because I got it like grey import because it's not officially like sold in Australia.
Oh, okay.
They're probably just mad about us having actual refund policies with items.
Yeah. But you can also get I before I got the official dock, I had like a $20 Belkin USB C one that connected like it did. There was no it's not like a dock. It was just like a dongle. So it allowed so it connected through the USB-C port, and then it would charge the Steam Deck, and then let me connect peripherals. Um, but there was obviously nothing to kind of hold it upright on the table or anything because it didn't have like the kickstand or whatever. It's an option.
Yeah, I don't know. Not that this is one on the Switch, but I like the Switch. It's like it's got the in the TV, out of the TV, and the controls come off, so you're not using it like a gamepad, like a
Yeah.
Wii U.
Yeah.
They learnt their lesson.
Yep. So it sounds like you'll be playing lots more, I guess. It
Yeah,
sounds like you're
I'm
enjoying
not
it.
sure how I'll be going with like if we're doing any following podcasts per like acts or something, but because I'll be pretty lagging, pretty behind if I'm still playing co-op. So
Yeah.
I'll just get through it in my own time.
Yeah. Well, you got a month up on the other two
Yeah,
gentlemen while they're waiting for their console ports.
yeah, still a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and even then, I know with Sea of Stars coming out, I think pretty sure Jordan's playing that now. I know Casey is, or will be when it comes out. So that might also be a. Again, it's just the time of year. It's just all these games coming out at once. So.
Yeah, I mean, like not just RPGs, but like the Switch eShop this week. It's like, oh my goodness, oh, there's so many, so many like actually good games in between all the other garbage. It's like I don't have the money for this. Like they all
Yeah.
come out the same day. Go ahead. Well,
Well, and
especially
my son just picked up the Cowabunga collection because it was
oh, nice.
on sale. I think it was like 50% off.
Calabi doesn't need to play any other games so they can beat one of them, and then you're set for a good month.
Yeah.
Although I've seen like younger kids like completely smash games, and I'm like, what? Like I couldn't even do now. Someone's like, 7-year-old playing the Crash Bandicoot remake and
Oh
beating
yeah.
it. And I'm like, what?
Well,
But
my
I guess they've just got the focus.
yeah. Well, I laughed at my son because he played the arcade version of Turtles in Time, and he was, I don't know, upset's not. It's kind of like this surprise disappointment almost, where he
Yeah.
beat the game in 45 minutes and looked up to me and he's like, "That was it." And I was like, "Well, I mean, you did cheese through the game because the arcade version, you can whenever you die, you can just put in more like coins in quotations to continue. So technically, like he would, if he died, he just throw more coins in, and he kept. So he was able to just play through the entire game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
but
like one of the Streets of Rage games on the collection. It was like you can restart, but you lose your score, so you could still, go and see the other bosses and get through it, but you'd have a lower score for
yeah.
dying.
Well, that's he's been on this huge beat 'em up craze because he started with Shredder's Revenge was on is that I don't know if it's still on sale, but it was on sale a couple weeks ago. So I ended up getting that because it was you know what it was it was in the P I think it was either no I think it was in the PS Store potentially. So I downloaded it for free. So that's why he played that. He played Shredder's Revenge, and then he's like, "Oh, I like this style of game." So I was like, "Okay, well." I had bought Streets of Rage 4 when it came out, so I'm like, play that one, you'll probably like that one. And he played that, and he really loved that. And he's like, what else can I play? And I'm like, I don't know, like
Scott
Cowabunga.
Pilgrim, River City Girls 1 and 2,
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll have to show him River City Girls because I think it's on the Switch. I think I
yeah.
have it on the Switch. So I'm going to show him that.
One you guys could Castle Crashers. That's on the Switch. The only thing is, I had a problem when I reviewed that where it was like the second player's thing didn't save because you've got to like log them in, but it doesn't really have a big obvious prompt for that. So like
Oh,
when we
okay.
went to play it the second time, the second player's levels and everything were gone. So
Oh, okay.
keep that in mind. But yeah, Castle Crash is also that kind of style, and it's I think a bit a bit lengthier than the older ones.
Yeah.
At least like that and River City Girls, you'd get a good playthrough time out of.
Yeah.
But no, there's quite a few beat 'em ups nowadays.
Yeah, plenty of options. Before we wrap things up, I believe you had a review come out recently, right?
Yes, Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, which I find was a musical, I'm not really sure why role playing was in the name of the game.
Oh, okay.
It's not really an RPG, and it doesn't really remind me of a tabletop game either. Um, it's basically a visual novel, but the choices and the branching doesn't seem to go very far either. They did this before my review came out. They were saying, "Oh, they're going to change the save system," because that was my problem with you had to basically roll back your save, so to try and see the different things. That kind of really kills replayability, and you can't like skip the songs because they're an important part. So it's just very,
Oh,
it's kind of hard to go through like you would normally try to get the different endings in a visual novel. But they did say they would make it more robust, so I don't know what that means. So that's maybe they've fixed that or given you just different extra save slots or something. But um, like it was fun, and I like some of the songs, but it was just yeah. No, I don't know why they put role playing in the name.
well, you know what's funny? I was just watching Only Murders in the Building is out on the newest season's out on Disney, and it's like part of the plot is they're like working on this musical now or whatever. And I actually thought about it the other day. I was kind of surprised that someone hasn't tried to put a musical in a like serious video game yet. And so it's funny that that's what your review on was was an RPG musical. So I was just thinking
Yeah.
about that the other day.
Yeah, it definitely had the musical part. Although, yeah, see, I was worried, oh, maybe I'm too harsh on it. And the first reviews I saw kind of similarly, like, just not really impressed by the fact that your choices kind of seemed like they didn't change the story terribly much. Like, I didn't even know if you could fail because like the whole thing is you get put on like a trial because you're suspected of murder, basically. I'm like, I don't know if you can actually somehow mess up and not pass that, really, like not find enough information. So it's just like it didn't really land in some ways, but I did really like some of the songs, and it's no real like gallery way to watch the songs because like they're different depending on your interactions, like slightly, like some of the lyrics and the instruments that come in. If you're more aggressive, it's more rocky, basically.
Oh, that's neat.
So I'm hoping to better find some way to easily get those songs because I can't go. I have to like progress through the game to get back to them because of the way the save system worked, at least pre-release.
Yeah.
Um,
I might
and
have to check
yes,
it out.
story wise, it was like you got to find out who the real culprit is, and I feel like that wasn't too hard to to guess or something.
Okay.
Was it? There's like some twists and stuff, like fun little things, and I mentioned the editor really like it. I mentioned it sort of had like a little bit of millennial writing here, and it's like I don't really get what that means to me, like irreverent or Mimi, and I'm like, yeah, she's pretty sarcastic and stuff. I'm like, not that Mimi, and then I found like one of my screenshots, and I'm like, okay, sometimes a little Mimi. Yeah.
And that's the reviews on RPG site?
Yes, rpgsite.net.
Cool.
And also my YouTube channel. I did a video because on the PlayStation 5 it's makes it easier. I don't have to like go into my computer and sit down and record. I can just be like record the last 5 minutes or whatever. So
yeah,
makes that easy.
Cool. Well, I guess this is probably a good spot to wrap up this week's episode. So yeah, that was our initial impressions on Act 1 of Baldur's Gate 3. I think there's 3 acts.
Yeah, that's generally how things have acts
yeah. So
done.
I'm sure in the future we'll probably come back and talk about the second and possibly the third acts later on, especially if this does being a game of the year worthy type of game, which it seems to be. Sounds like everyone will be playing it at some point, so maybe a late year episode for that, for a full spoiler cast. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for listening, and yeah, everyone check out Paige's latest review at the RPG site, or head over to her YouTube channel, Paige G Guy, and make sure you subscribe to after watching the review. But yeah, for now, we'll see everyone out at the next episode, which may or may not be Pikmin 4. We keep pushing that down the bench, but sooner or later it will be done. But for now, thanks for listening.